No lines, no crowds, and no hype. This theme park costs over $100 million to build, but it sits nearly empty. Even on weekdays, there are no lines, and chances are you've never even heard of it. This amusement park in Iowa opened on June 18th in 2022 with no recognition. A theme park so good, it could be compared to Universal or Disney. Waterloo, Iowa received a theme park costing more than $100 million. But you probably haven't heard of it. Why is this? And was it a failure? A quick overview of the theme park. Located in Waterloo, Iowa, the park opened on June 18, 2022. The recent introduction of the park should have allowed for some long lines and hype across America, but the theme park remains nearly a ghost town. No attraction had a long line on my visit besides Volcano, which is one of their more well-known and immersive attractions to headline the park. Lost Island is split into several sections of the park. This includes Mira, the fire section, Awa, which is water, Udara is air, Earth is Utah, and a kids area. The theme and vision of the park are clearly very well done. It opened with almost no hype, no national recognition, and yet it features coasters you'd expect from much bigger parks. So let's take a look at what this relatively unknown $100 million park actually offers. Starting with the park's signature attraction, and the reason most guests attend Lost Island, is in the fire section of the park, which is their shooting dark ride, Volcano Quest for the Golden Idol. The theming is very well done, and the ride can stand its own against the attention to detail that is put into a Universal or Disney dark ride. I'd almost make the argument that it is better. When it comes to interactive shooting rides, Volcano just might take the top spot. Everything from the animatronics, the queue, and the screens is all on point. This may just be the best ride in the park. But there's some other great rides at Lost Island as well. Utah Falls is another great ride with solid theming and experience. Then there's a Ferris wheel that offers great views of the entire park and the surrounding roller coasters. The other rides in the theme park offer a lot of thrilling sensations to both families and thrill seekers. The balance of flat rides with roller coasters is very well done at Lost Island. There's a ride for everyone, and each ride works towards a vision. The roller coaster collection doesn't feature many rides, but each ride there is either one of the greatest rides of the model or a rare addition that cannot be found at many other theme parks across the globe. The first roller coaster that opened in the park's ride collection was Napuco Air Coaster, a Vekoma suspended looping coaster, or SLC for short. These attractions are infamous for a painful ride experience. The ride is notorious for a shuffle on the rollover. The ride attendants warned riders prior to the train departing from the station that the first few rows will experience a more rough experience. There was a prominent shuffle in the valley, and it definitely requires riders to ride defensively to enjoy the ride experience. But the rest of the ride is great and a solid experience with great near misses and some solid inversions. I thought the ride model was overhated, but I'm unsure if this is one of the more well-maintained rides of the model. Plus, employees at the park told me the park is working on fixing any issues with the ride, so the park is going above and beyond to accommodate the guest experience. Matugani was an anticipated ride for the park, especially when it first opened. There's several reasons why. This launch roller coaster was the first headliner of the ride collection. Matugani was delayed a year. The park first opened without the ride opening. I anticipated riding this intimate accelerator roller coaster because it is a rare ride model only found at a few parks across America. Now with Kingda Ka closed, there are only a handful left in the US. There's only Stormrunner, Accelerator, and now Matugani left. So I knew I had to get out to the park to ride for Matugani alone. The roller coaster would be a relocation from Liseberg. Despite not being an original ride, it is still unique and an amazing addition to the park that is still very special and much needed. The original Kanonen lives today as Matugani and thrills riders as a standout ride at Lost Island. When it comes to the actual ride, does the layout make up for the lack of stats? The ride is only 78 feet tall with 1,443 feet of track. Reaching speeds of 46 miles per hour, the roller coaster starts the ride off with an incredible first launch. The ride kicks things off with a hydraulic launch from 0 miles per hour to 46.6 miles per hour in an impressive 2 seconds. Another notable feature of the ride is the 65-foot tall loop. This is one of the 2 inversions featured in the ride's layout. With 8 total rows and 4 cars per train, the ride has varying ride experiences front to back. Matukani has one of the best first launches I've ever experienced straight out of the station. I did not anticipate the first launch being that punchy. I was caught off guard by the power. Next is the ride's top hat. Front and back row will be receiving standing ejector airtime. The front is shot up the almost 80-foot tall element before plummeting down over the pathway at 90 degrees. In the back row, you are absolutely whipped down the drop. Even though the ride isn't the tallest, this drop contains a lot of force. It's an element I didn't expect either to have the power it did. It was almost just as surprising, if not more surprising than the launch. And this trend continues with the next few elements. The next airtime moment supplies a brief moment that violently tosses riders out of the train in a different way. Instead of your standard airtime, you're thrown out of your seat sideways. This lateral airtime is surprising, but not as surprising as the 65-foot tall vertical loop that follows. During the loop, the ride turns off gravity. This element features strong hang time as it feels like the ride greatly slows at the top. I didn't expect Matukani to have inversions that would be some of the best on any roller coaster, especially for a ride not even close to being 100 feet tall. The same applies to that snappy airtime hill that changes direction abruptly. It's unexpected, offering the greatest lateral sensation on the ride. These airtime hills tend to be my favorite moments on roller coasters. Matugani's is no different. The power is just not seen on many rides built. Finally, the roller coaster ends with a slow roll into the final brakes. So both inversions leave riders hanging upside down for sustained seconds. From my experience, the back row on the right side is the best seat on the ride. That's where the airtime and inversions are the most powerful. Matukani is manufactured by Intamin, a company that makes many of the best launch roller coasters found across the world. I did not think Matukani would be one of the best rides of the model, and I was blown away. Despite the short length, each element of the ride packs a punch. And there's so many standout moments that makes the ride memorable. I'd go as far to say that Matukani is similar to a ride like Cornball Express at Indiana Beach. Not in the sense that the rides feel similar, but statistically they are the same without not being anywhere near the 100-foot mark. Featuring many moments of the roller coaster where riders in the back row will be flung out of their seats violently. Matukani was a surprising ride, and worth a visit to Lost Island alone, but I waited to visit the park, because I knew there was a major, standout ride that would open later. The theme park's newest ride was their biggest addition yet, and the reason for the anticipation was clear. I hadn't heard much about the ride before it opened. When a ride is built by the roller coaster manufacturer RMC, the hype is unmatched, but Fire Runner was left in the dust. Is it because the community is getting tired of the RMC Raptor clones? Is RMC starting to fade out of the competition? Or did the park just not create enough hype around the ride? Looking at the additions in recent years, there hasn't been anything too noteworthy. Parks have been building family rides, and most additions don't even stack up as the best rides in their park anymore. There's just been a bit of a drought. But one thing I learned about the roller coaster industry is, you can't have fire without a little ice. There's no hiding it. Fire Runner just may be not only the best of the RMC Raptor clones, but also the best ride of the model. From those who have ridden it, the general opinion of the ride is the same. Every rider seems to conclude that the roller coaster is the headlining ride of the park and one of the best roller coasters out there. And it all starts from the presentation of the ride. Set in the fire section of the park, Miura, the roller coaster stands out and is perfectly placed to fit with the surrounding attractions. The ride sits perfectly next to Volcano, and even when entering the queue, the theming can be observed. Everything about the roller coaster in the area it occupies is executed flawlessly. It's a roller coaster that couldn't have been done any better at any other theme park. And for some reason, the ride experience lives up to those standards as well. A back row ride supplies one of the greatest roller coaster and RMC experiences of all time. The first drop is a masterpiece. Row 12 will be yanked for true ejector airtime. Riders feel like they will be flung out violently. I'm a huge fan of RMC first drops because compared to other roller coaster manufacturer drops, they're some of the best out there. But Fire Runners, even compared to the RMC rides, cranks it to 11 and beats out most of their own works. I was shocked that Fire Runner stands less than 100 feet tall and packs the power that it does. It feels a lot taller than the ride stats give it credit for. When ripping through the layout at 52 miles per hour, the pacing makes the ride feel a lot more intense. The 12-row train travels the 1,950 feet of track at breakneck pace. All of the stats make the ride on paper seem tame, but after a back row ride, it is far from it. I think that back row drop is evidence alone for this claim, and that is only the beginning of the insane ride experience. The next prominent element is the airtime hill under the chain lift hill. To many, this element is the most intense part of the ride's layout. Fire Runner propels riders laterally out of their seats, ejecting them in a way that isn't seen on your average roller coaster. Just like the lateral ejector airtime on Matugani, this element on Fire Runner is very similar, but to a more intense degree. The power is unmatched, making it one of my favorite airtime elements of all time. This power only continues with the drop following the intense turnaround. This whippy transition is a preview for another great and powerful moment of airtime. Riders in the back row experience yet again another sensation similar to the first drop. The front rows of the train drag the back row down the element at unnatural speeds. So be prepared to be launched out of your seat for another elite element. Finally, the ride journeys a cutback over the building to offer a great near miss before yet another inversion. Even if the 3 inversions aren't the best of all the RMC roller coasters, they are still top tier and better than many of the rides made by other companies. This leaves riders on the brake run satisfied. Just like Matugani, Fire Runner is not the longest layout, but each element packs a punch and will offer a ride that is better than most I've ever experienced. I was blown away by the ride. Even though this ride is not rare and the same ride model can be found at a few parks, it's easy to appreciate how outstanding Fire Runner is. It fits very well within Lost Island and was the perfect headlining attraction for the park. It might not break records, but for this park, it's a headliner. A visit to the park only begs the question, why isn't this park successful? There can be many reasons for this. My interpretation is that the theme park did not market the opening of the park as well as they should have. Without a record-breaking ride, many guests who do not have as much interest in roller coasters or attractions may likely not anticipate a visit to Lost Island, and the location of the park may not be convenient for most visitors. Because of the location, it may be harder for guests to visit compared to most of the amusement parks that are typically near major cities. The location is not ideal for many guests and theme park fanatics. Plus, Lost Island may be overshadowed by the Cedar Fair or Six Flags parks that are near the theme park. I believe that these 2 reasons are the main reasons why the public has not given Lost Island the hype that it deserves. Opening in the middle of 2022 may not have been the best timeline for a major theme park to open in the middle of Iowa. After the recovery of a global pandemic, the industry was still recovering from the major event. Therefore, the timing of the park may not have been helpful towards creating more build-up to exposing guests to the opening of this wonderful creation. Lost Island is a park definitely worth visiting. I'd say it is one of the best parks I've ever visited, And if you get the chance to visit or find yourself in the area, it is worth a stop. Thank you so much for watching.